put yourself in the mind of a college student. For some of you, it's not very hard because you are a college student, but still think about it. When you go to college, what is one thing you sometimes forget that you pay for out of pocket? Textbooks. Yes, thank you. And when you get to your classes, you're sometimes expected by the professor to read several chapters within a couple days. How in the world are you expected to remember what you read in those several chapters in a couple days? It is a difficult task to find time to sit and read a textbook, especially if you're required to read and remember most of what you read. After I present my speech, you will be able to read entire textbooks more effectively than you previously would have. And you will also read them quickly. I myself am a college student, and setting aside hours to sit and read a textbook for class is very difficult, as I am involved in other things that are time-consuming. After learning these 3 tasks to more effectively read a textbook, I now have more time to spend elsewhere. Whether you're a high school student, college student, or at a job where you read emails or books, this presentation will be helpful to you. Using the 3 steps of previewing, setting a purpose, and beginning to end, textbook readers will be able to read books faster, as well as comprehending what they're reading. So prior to reading, before actually reading the chapter, we're going to preview it. You're going to look through to see the headings and titles. Look forward to see the headings and titles and graphs and bold words to gain clues about the main context and important elements of the chapter. You're going to look at the titles, headings and subtitles, vocabulary lists, end of chapter summaries, introductions, bold words. All of these you'll flip through to find the most important things. So when you do read the chapter, you know, I should remember this. And then prior to reading also, you're going to set a purpose. Like, why are you reading this? What is the point? So to set a purpose, after previewing your chapter, you set a purpose as to why you're reading this chapter and what you need to understand and know after reading it. The main thing is you should make a list on things that you want to learn and you should have learned after reading it. Now moving on to when you read the chapter. This is what they call beginning to end. Flip to the end of the chapter, not the beginning as you might think, to find out the specific things to remind your brain to keep a lookout for. So basically read the summary, the vocab lists, chapter questions, and practice problems. Another quick thing, stop and think. After every page or so, stop to remind yourself, what did I just read? And summarize it to yourself. Now that I've gone through these 3 steps in the process of effectively reading textbooks and its chapters, you should now be able to tell others of this helpful process. Basically, I taught you, you should preview the chapter's contents, which will prepare you for what you are about to learn and hopefully take notes on. When you set a purpose for each chapter you read, you solidify what you need to know and what you should have learned from the chapter. Lastly, when you begin at the end, you see the most important topics and aspects of the chapter, and this helps you to remember the main focus of what the chapter is, including its vocab lists or lists of terms. In conclusion, taking apart a chapter before actually reading it helps you to understand the chapter and retain it better. Doing this will save you time in the long run. Doing these 3 steps will save you time and will help you to remember the important topics from any textbook or instruction book for your job. Why not go ahead and try to save yourself some time by learning what you read from your textbook the first time rather than going back to look it up?